I win.
Before I start actually yapping in this video, I just want to say that this is super unscripted, so it's probably not going to be good, but yeah, I hope you enjoy and it ends up helpful anyways. I guess the first part to creating an actual character is kind of having an idea. When I was creating Phoenix, the first thing I did is obviously I knew that I had my mask and I knew that I wanted to make a character out of it, so I just ended up sketching the mask and just playing around with a bunch of different things, and I ended up getting some vague ideas of what I wanted him to be. And of course, even just like little ideas in the beginning probably aren't going to stick, but a lot of them might, and that's okay. It's your character, you can always change it. So I guess my first little piece of advice is to just get every little vague idea you want and just start collecting them, and then try and build off of that for the character. For cosplay, a great first step is getting a balaclava. There's a lot of different types, and I think whatever type you use can also help build different unique things about this character and also helps with some personality. Starting with a mask, too, is also super helpful because there's so many things you can do. And just like with your face in general, since a lot of Call of Duty characters have a lot of unique things about their character that kind of has a little bit of personality in it. The first, most common thing, I think, is people painting their balaclavas, which can depend on what kind of balaclava you have and what it is made out of. It also depends on what kind of paint you have, but I think painting your balaclava is a super unique and it's very open. There's a lot of things you can do to your mask when you paint it. Embroidery is also a super unique way to give your balaclava or your character patterns and whatever. For example, Vin's mask has the yellow embroidery floss, but of course this also depends on what mask you have and what type of string you have available. Of course, if that doesn't work for you or that's too basic for you, you can also use a t-shirt like Koenig's, and you can paint or bleach it, or just have a cool color. And of course, you can always just wear a normal face mask or medical mask or whatever. There's a lot of options for that too, but you can paint or do whatever to that too. And of course, there's a lot of other things you can do. I thought of maybe putting horns on your balaclava, or just having a bioasset character Spade or Scythe. There's probably a lot more, but yeah. And of course, scars. Scars are my favorite thing to do with Call of Duty characters. But this can help build lore and personality and, just all the good stuff like that. And I love drawing scars on myself and doing makeup or whatever. You can see here I circled a bunch of stuff that just can make your character unique, like your haircut, just certain accessories, face paint, hats, just silly stuff like that that really makes your character stand out. Obviously there's other stuff you can do too, like ethnicity and accents, but the looks of your character are probably the first thing you'll want to do, I guess, because that makes doing everything else a lot easier. But my favorite thing about the older Soap is when he was Captain McTavish, he had a scar over his eye and he would do the war paint, quote unquote. Another thing, of course, too, is tactical vests. I would suggest, if you're going to get one, get an airsoft one, because actual tactical vests tend to be more expensive, as you can see. I also forgot to mention gas masks are another kind of mask, obviously Phoenix. But since most all gas masks, real or not, are pretty expensive, I don't think a lot of people go with them. The one I have, you can get in an airsoft version, the M50, but obviously if you want a real one like I have, you would have to pay a lot more money, but I had a brother in the Marine Corps, so. Another thing too, though, is that different parts of the military use different types of gas masks, obviously, because they need to be specialized to what situations they might be in. And of course it's important to have details that would be good for them to be in the task force, why they were put there, certain stuff like that. And asking like little questions about your character can really help little parts of your character really come together. Another like huge part of Call of Duty OCs is call signs, but there are obviously in real life, this isn't real life, it's Call of Duty, but in real life, call signs are normally what you're specialized at, but of course in the fandom, there's a lot of like theories and different speculations, so you can really just kind of make it whatever you want. But I like to make my characters' call signs after what they're good at or like part of their lore and like silly stuff like that. But I also really like this theory I put on screen. I think it'd be pretty cool and be like a cool thing to make your character have their call sign be their fear. But you can also just base the call sign off of lots of other things, like their like special ability or what they're good at. And of course, interacting with the community too can also help you build your character a lot. Like, even when I was just like first starting YouTube, I would just do like stupid, silly little videos. And I still do, that's literally what I do. But like, planning how your character would interact with other characters can also help with stuff like doing POVs or whatever. Relationships your character has is a really cool fun part for like making character and stuff, like who's your character is friends with and stuff, and just like having little scenarios and relationships and how they would interact can help a lot. Another thing I like to do is make AUs, like alternate universes, where like different cooler stuff happens, and that can also help make your character by, creating situations and how they would react in them. I literally am repeating myself, but whatever. Also, a small apology if I'm getting like harder to understand. I feel like dookie right now and my throat is scratchy from talking, but nevertheless I shall continue, whatever. Anyways, also another thing that helps me like with like lore and stuff is listening to music. A lot of people have like asked me how I came up with lore, but it's a common thing in the Call of Duty characters to give them parts of your own lore. Yeah, anyways, enough yapping. I don't know what else to say. But if you have any questions... Oh! Fashion is another way to, like, get some... or portray some personality of your character. So I always like making little outfits for when I cosplay my characters. I think that was the last thing. I should have, like, written bullet points or whatever to talk about, but I hope this helped you a little bit, at least. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions. I'll answer them the best I can. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed